And
I don't care.
Oh my god, well then I need a microphone.
Yeah.
Here you go. Take this totally real and plugged in microphone.
Why are you holding it?
Because it makes me feel more confident.
This does make me feel more confident.
So you are okay with it?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Did you start recording?
Perhaps you'll find out when this episode drops.
Really, I feel like every opening has me going, did you start recording?
I know. I did notice that on the one I listened to on the way here.
Well, it's because I say like offensive things. Like if I were to sit without...
Don't clip that.
Never.
If I were to sit and have nobody be like, that was probably not good to say, I think it's because I'm very honest.
I mean, that's
literally
the whole point of the show is raw honesty, and that's what you bring to it. But speak up just a little louder.
People are...
into our coffee cup microphones.
Oh, I should be speaking...
Yeah, just speak a
little louder.
So maybe a little bit louder now. Maybe the microphone's actually having the detrimental effect on the
Did
the
we
audio.
start?
Did we start? You'll find out. So the best was last week when we were on with Pete Bondarenko, and the cold open. Well, you haven't heard it yet, but now that everybody's heard it, because we're in the future now.
Yeah.
About you saying, "I run this office," meaning the office that we're in now. At least I think I do.
Yeah, I think I own this place.
We have it. It's in history. And do you like how I started pulling the mic up when I started talking like Batman? This thing is really going to screw me up today.
Do you know why I think I own it? Because I want this. If I want Keller Williams to be the office of Yardley Barrow, whether or not I'm your realtor, someone in this office needs to be your realtor.
That's
because I care about everybody. I do care. It's actually...
You gave me the best deal of 2020.
What? Oh, God, yeah. She did get a good deal.
She got me the best house in 2020.
In the real estate market in 2020, her house appraised for $25,000 more.
Sick.
That...
I get a text from her once a month that says...
Wow.
I'm just randomly thinking about how you got the best deal of 2020.
Yeah, it is.
And we're in 2025.
All right, because now it seems like we did start.
Yeah, I guess we keep saying she, her. I assume she has a name and a story.
Yes, she does have a name.
And a place here with us today.
So we did start another episode of... Another riveting episode of Minding... I sometimes say the wrong name as well. Minding Our Business podcast, where we talk mental health and entrepreneurship. And today we have one of my... I would say bestest friend. She was in my wedding, and she's a badass entrepreneur, author, and probably many more titles. MMA fighter.
Rank the titles in the order that you covet and
so her name's Nikki Castle.
Value them.
So why don't you start by telling us a little bit about yourself in general?
So my name's Nikki. Jess and I go way back. We were just doing the math of, I think it's been 14 years. Sold me my house. I was in her wedding. 2020. Our lives have just completely intertwined. So she's seen me go from corporate to entrepreneur. I worked for Dell for 10 years, worked in corporate America, didn't even hate it either, which is an interesting piece of the story. And I was an English major in college, and I feel like everyone kind of has a dream or everybody says they're going to write a book one day. Well, when COVID hit and I was quarantined, I thought, okay, well, I've always wanted to write one. Now I have time to do it. So I'm just going to sit down and do it. And the book game has changed completely. You don't need a publisher anymore. You can just self-publish on Amazon. So I basically feel like I hit the upload button on a Word document, and I published it, and 3 months later, an influencer found it and blew it up, and I was able to transition to now I write full-time. So the switch from 9 to 5 to now working for myself was a big one. It was a tough one, but I like this way more than what I was doing before. And again, I didn't hate what I was doing before. It's just, I sit in my office and I tell love stories. I talk to myself about love stories because I write romance specifically.
Great characters.
I do. My books are very character heavy, and I think, I love writing about people and people struggles. And I think love is obviously the biggest emotion out of all those. So I just started my 10th book.
Wow.
Which is just kind of crazy.
And she thinks that's not enough. like when we talked last year, you were like, I need to get another book. I'm like, you wrote 8 books. Wow.
I know.
I also want to say that I feel like I always knew that you were going to be at a level of success that you are, because you've always been a very, very hard worker. Like starting from like a super young age, like you were working full time as a teenager.
Yeah.
Which I want you to tell us about. But I also want to know, weren't you a philosophy major too?
Yeah, I was an English and philosophy major.
Yeah, so I feel like when people hear that, they're like, oh, what are you going to do? And she's
like,
look, what
actually,
I did.
One of the things I was thinking about when you asked me to be on this podcast was, we good?
I guess so.
Okay. I don't know if you guys have ever said this on the show or if this is just where my brain goes, but I feel like when you and I were in school, there was this message of don't work for yourself because it's unreliable. The income is unreliable. Like, job security means going to work in corporate America or work for someone else. And then 2 years ago, I think everything changed because everyone that I knew, I mean, everyone talks about the corporate layoffs of the past 2 years. Like, there's just so many layoffs going on. And I think the message has really changed now where, no, now you don't want to work for someone else because they can let you go at any point for any reason. Work for yourself because you have complete control. Okay, not complete. No one has complete control. But you have way more control over your own job and your own income.
The factors shift. So
yeah,
being your own boss is a myth. And I can say that confidently as my own boss and the host of the Fire Your Boss show. What changes is who you're accountable to.
Yeah.
Instead of having 7 layers of management above you, you have yourself, employees, if you have them. You don't even have those when you start out, and the clients. That's it. 3 layers of it. Dig into shareholders and lending and stuff, but really 3 people to please instead of 95.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, added stress for your family is that your husband's also a small business owner. He owns a gym in
Chalfont, Pennsylvania.
What's it called?
Hellfish Mixed Martial Arts. It's the only job he's ever had. It blows my mind. He went to college for like a semester, but he started training mixed martial arts when he was 15, 16, started fighting when he was in his 20s, and then when he retired, he opened up a gym. So it was always a very bizarre conversation after we got married to there would be times where I would have so much work. I'd be working with Australia until 2-3 in the morning. And then I would come to bed and he is just happily sleeping. I'm like, you have never known what it's like to report to someone else because you've only ever worked for yourself. And then, but he's also, on the flip side, he's also been a huge help shifting from corporate to working for myself because there was a gigantic shift. It took me a solid 6 months to get comfortable with it. But it was also a harder decision because I had all the insurance and the benefits when I was working for Dell. And then, now all of a sudden, how much you pay for insurance is a much bigger number when you work for yourself.
On yours,
he was on mine, because I was the one that I had everything. So, but he's been a huge, huge help. God, don't tell him I said this. His head's already big enough. But he's been a huge, huge help with shifting
Timmy's hot, guys.
from, working for yourself because it is a big shift.
Well, he has the mentality, but I feel like your family has like a very hardworking. Like, did anyone else in your family own a business? But Sylvia's like the same way.
She just started.
I can imagine her starting something.
Well, she did. So she kind of did the same thing. She quit her job last year, and she was always working in like accounting gigs. And it was my younger sister, and now she opened up her own bakery. So right now they're micro bakeries.
How old is Sylvia?
27.
She's young, yeah.
Yeah. But that's the thing is like, so to answer your question, no, none of our family before us has ever owned their own business. Mm-hmm. But the one thing that we've all had in common, every single one of us, is that we work our asses off. So, which I think if you have that, you at least have something. So,
well, you do because, and again, let me go anti-corporate again. Are you going to work your ass off for yourself or for somebody else? Yeah. And this is where we'll get philosophical about it. I have no idea if this is rooted in any sort of philosophical discipline whatsoever.
Have a philosophy.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, she would be the authority amongst us about this. Yeah. Is some of it's mindset shift and it's a little puffery, but you do owe it to your target demographic and clients to like offer the best that you can offer them. Yeah. And get paid for it. Of course, we all got to eat. But again, is your track in working hard, doing that for a system and process, even if you enjoy it, that doesn't create that value or one that does. And that's how I kind of reduce and break everything down now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for me, the hard shift for me when I went from, and I worked in computer software sales. So sales is like a whole other thing too, where completely agree. I didn't see like a tangible value in it. I never thought I was missing that until I shifted, but you're either, working hard for someone else where I guess I'm making the company money, but it doesn't affect I get commission, but like doesn't really affect my day to day.
You're changing the lives.
Yeah, exactly.
Of those people who are buying the software.
Yeah, and it's not changing my paycheck that much that I, really need to work my butt off for it.
I feel like you definitely put a lot of time and effort into your job, probably more than the average person. That's like, I just felt like one? Your like Dell job.
Yeah. Well, because I liked it. That's the thing is I fell into it.
It did start to take a toll though.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
So you were like, I'm so miserable.
Well, I mean, for me, kind of the process was I fell into it after college because, like I said, at the time, the joke was, what are you going to do with an English and philosophy degree? Think deep thoughts about being unemployed? That was the answer. That's the answer I would get from everyone. And then now I kind of want to laugh at them and be like, okay, well, no, that's not what I'm doing. But I kind of fell into, it was supposed to be just checking it off as, I'll see if I like working in corporate America. And I didn't hate it. The company was a really, really good one, believe it or not. The team was good. My dad was working at the company. I'm really close to my dad. I got to work with him. And then suddenly 8 years later, Dell sold us and the whole company just changed overnight. And I think a lot of people make fun of the, be a team player. Like, that was how it's supposed to be when I started working for the company, and then it became a catchphrase by the end of it. So everything changed, and my light bulb moment was when my books were doing so well that I was making more with that than I was at my day job, and I would have a bad day, and I'd be like, why am I here? Like, it's not even a money reason anymore. Why am I here? And then I was just, I don't like to talk about how the depression manifested, but complete depression by the end of that. And it took me a while to feel like I was okay to leave my job, because working for yourself is really fucking scary. I mean, especially having never done it before. And it was really just because of my husband, because not only was he doing it, but he was supportive of it, that I finally made the switch. And then my like iffy phase after that was, okay, I went from working 8 hours a day to now I have this full control and this thing that I see value in, going back to your early point, and I need to work 20 hours a day. And I burned out. I mean, the book that I was writing at the time, I knew I was in trouble because I had 3 moments where I was like, I'm trashing the whole thing. I'm going to throw this entire manuscript out the window. And by the 3rd time, my editor called me. And my editor is kind of not actually my therapist, but I joke that she is. She calls me and she's like, so what's going on in your life? Because you maybe hit this point once with every book, but why is it like why are you doing this so often? And I realized it was because I was doing nothing else but working. So I had to find the middle ground of, for me, I have to take at least one day off a week where I don't write a single word. I have to do other things. I have to turn my brain off. I kind of have set hours. I time block now. So I kind of went from, oh, this is all I'm going to do, to, oh, wait, this can't be all that I do.
Right, because then what's the point?
Well, it was making things worse.
Which book was this? Like what number wise?
My 5th one.
Okay, so literally the halfway point of if not not by the timeline, but by how many you've produced. Not uncommon.
I was gonna say after I went through it, I was like, that's probably pretty normal.
What was that feeling like when you like realized that your book was like being like noticed in the book world.
Well, I still think the weirdest is when, I mean, I was in Australia for a book signing over the summer, and I had people coming up to me like
asking for your autograph.
Well, that happens. I mean, I got
like, that happens all the time.
Well, I got noticed in Reading Terminal Market the other week.
Whoa!
Which is like, oh my god,
and that's like that's home ground too.
I know, that's what I mean, because
everybody
knows I live in Philly because all my books take place in Philly. But that one was weird because it was outside of like a book convention.
Yeah.
But I was in Australia, and people were like, oh my god, you're the author I've been dying to meet for years now. And I'm like, going back to my earlier comment, I feel like I hit upload on a Word document. I don't feel like anything. You know what I mean?
So what did you do? Did somebody find it when you posted it and then they posted it on Instagram, or did you post it on Instagram and then somebody found it?
Well, I was doing a lot of marketing on socials before I even published the book. Yeah. And I remember I sent out 5 paperbacks to book influencers at the time. Oh. And it was just with a note of like, you know, no expectation here. I hope my only hope is that if you read it and you like it, you share it. And she did, and it was like overnight sales. Wow. Like 1 weekend. My only goal with the first book had been to make back what I spent on it. Mm-hmm. She did that in a weekend.
What's the cost? Like, what's the costs that are associated with I guess paying an editor?
Yeah. So I always swear by 2 things, especially you don't need to spend a crazy amount. And I actually, like, some people will say like, oh, you spent $10,000 on my first book. No, that's insane. But you also shouldn't spend
money on. Oh, I guess marketing
and like a bunch of stuff.
One of the biggest things.
But you also should spend more than $0 because there's that message too of like do your own cover, use Grammarly for your editor, and I'm like, okay, AI is good for some things, but not that. You know what I mean? So for me, I think it was $1,500, $2,000, something like that. Because it was my editor. Nowadays cost me about $2,000. I always swear by a cover, which is a couple $100. That's really it. Those are the 2. I played a PR company in the beginning for my first few books, but now I do that myself. And now I have a team that, like, I have someone that does graphics for me. I have someone that does like admin work. But it doesn't cost like that much, I don't think.
I feel like that's been like a big issue for me is like I'm not a good delegator.
That took me a long time too, because I'm a control freak.
You're like, oh, someone's making graphics. It's like, I know, even though I know people are better at things than me, I'm like, is it though?
Yeah.
Is it better?
Well, it took me a while. I just this year, found a girl that does graphics the way that, like, I always joke that we're like in sync. Like, I have a vague idea and she creates exactly what I'm thinking. So you have to find someone that you're in sync with. Mm-hmm. Same thing with the editor. Same thing with, I have something called beta readers, so they're people who read the book, or like an early version of it.
Like a focus.
Kinda, yeah. I have sensitivity readers depending on the book.
So Did you make changes based on that focus group because it's not out yet? If like
that's the point.
Like, that's the point of it. Okay.
Yeah. So they get there, but they're people that I trust with my life because I have to respect your literary opinion.
Yeah.
So, but even that was another thing with switching to being my own boss is that I'm a control freak. I have to build this team that I like, that I want, that I trust, you know? And it took me until this year to like, so I published in 2021, so it's been 4 years. This year has been the first time I feel like I like finally have a handle on it.
This is like your systems, operations, and scaling year.
Yeah, basically. So I have high hopes for next year. I have a lot of things, and I tried to plan more. I fly less by the seat of my pants because that's just kind of who I am as a person.
It's going to create burnout again.
Yeah.
We all may burn out again, but not the same way.
Yeah.
Which is important. And then preventing you from scaling.
Yeah.
Right? So those are 2 things that you've overcome, and that's awesome. It's impressive to see this, hear this, witness it. Yeah. I'm just excited to see the next. Actually, I haven't even read a book yet, so I have to. I'm not sure if I'm your target demo, but
no, I have some guys that read my books.
You're gonna have to. If you're into fighting and intercourse.
Oh my God.
I like both of those things.
and love. Also, to go back to your thing, my favorite quote, and I'm going to get it tattooed on me, is "A life with love is a life that's been lived." It's a lyric from an Ed Sheeran song.
I was going to say, I didn't write that, but that's a good one.
Shout to Ed Sheeran, right?
I didn't know you were an Ed Sheeran fan.
I'm not a fan of everything. Like, if you look in my Spotify, it's like Whitney Houston, Aaron Carter, freaking Chris Brown, Look at Me Now. Like, it's like very, very random.
Everyone.
Broadway. Like, I'm like...
Any particular shows? I'm on a Hamilton kick again for whatever reason.
I like Dear Evan Hansen's the one song I really like. And I've been singing Waitress. She used to be mine. I don't want to do it because I don't want to take the spotlight away from you because once I start hitting those notes,
singing.
Back to the Jessica show.
Yeah, back to the Jessica show. I don't know why, but I really want you to share this with people because I think it's important to show you is that like starting from like high school, you've really like focused on like working and like just like you've had a lot of you're very disciplined.
Yeah, well, I was
to finish because did you even finish early? High school?
Yeah, I dropped out of high school and finished early.
So yeah, she dropped out of high school. You're a high school dropout.
I am. I'm a high school dropout.
She's a high school dropout.
Yeah.
Who then did... Do you have a GED or do you still have a diploma?
So what I did was...
cyber school?
Yeah, so I did cyber school before it was like a thing. So when I dropped out, the whole town, which I grew up in a very small town, was like, that weirdo.
Yes. Yeah.
And then nowadays I get DMs like, I didn't know you were a writer. I love books. Look, so it's a funny like full circle moment. But...
And then you worked full time being a scuba diver?
Well, that's what I...
Instructor, not a scuba diver.
Well, I did both, yeah. Well, no, because I dropped out in 10th grade because I was like, school takes too long. Also, I grew up under European parents, so the education system there is a little bit different. So for me, I was like, I could do this in 2 hours. Why am I spending 8 hours a day on this? So I did a cyber school is basically they give you the state curriculum and you do it on your own. Yeah. So I would do 2 hours of schoolwork in the morning, work a full-time job, and then I would go to the gym. I was training every night. I was fighting in high school. You
normally wouldn't get home till like... When you live with Shane, you were like not home until like
I was doing that same thing in college or like after college too. It was I worked during the day.
And you've always had multiple jobs.
Always, yeah. It's just again, you grew up under immigrant parents. They instill work ethic in you. Yeah. And my sister's the same exact way.
I think it's crazy that she's opening a bakery or is she storefronting?
Not yet. So the way a lot of people are starting it right now is it's called a micro bakery. So they do it out of their home. So she technically. They had like people come out and like approve her kitchen and her water and her like everything.
Oh my God, it's so intense. I feel like I'm learning so much about people starting busices that are
interesting,
in so many different sectors.
Well, and then the other one that I own was it's a book signing event. So I actually have one next week in Lansdale. Where we do 2 events a year. It's me and 2 other girls. We organize... No, they're readers. Okay. But we create a small book signing because book signings are very popular in the romance reader space. And they'll travel all over the country. We've had people come in from other countries too. Where we keep it small because the smaller ones are more fun, I think. So we invite a dozen authors... And then maybe like 120 people, and authors have it's kind of like any kind of like fall festival or like farmers market or whatever. So authors sign books, they sell books. Readers get to take pictures with them and stuff. And it's been interesting doing that one because the 2 girls that started the company invited me in last year, and it's cool seeing it because like. I am an author, so I do these signings as authors, but it's cool to also be able to curate the ideal book signing experience for both authors and readers, So that's been another kind of business venture that it's similar but different at the same time. Yeah. So it's been cool branching into different things. But
yeah, I feel like when you... Because I don't know, like, someone who is a popular, like, who knows someone that's, like, a popular author. But isn't it weird to think that you can go in Barnes & Nobles, or your books are in Barnes & Nobles, and, like, pull it off?
I know.
And not in the way where you're, like, you're the first-time bootstrapped author, where you slide your books, and you're like, oh, hey, look at this one. Wow, what a cool book.
Well, it's so arrogant to say, but it's true. It's kind of funny, where I have, sometimes people find out that I write books, and first of all, the reaction is always phenomenal. And even the fact that I write romance books, there's actually not a stigma around it anymore. Okay. The only place I ever get judged is in other countries, which is kind of funny to think about. But in the U.S., they think it's like the coolest thing ever.
And you have fans in Australia, too.
I have fans everywhere, I was in London last year for it. So, yeah, it's... But I have people who kind of know me in real life who... It's a very separate presence because my author presence is online. I don't do much. I mean, I go to signings, but I don't do much in person. And so people who know me in real life, they hear author and they go, oh, that's so cool. Do you need me to buy a book? Do you need me to leave a review? And I'm like, always, absolutely. But I'm not dying for it. Like, that's the weirdest thing
next
to
meal
be like,
depend on
like, I don't, like, obviously always appreciate the support.
Yeah.
But this has gotten a little bit bigger than you and I both thought this was going to get. So.
No. I totally knew you were going to be an amazing author. And
so were you,
and I'm not just saying that. I feel like you know that.
Were you writing before you wrote the first book?
Kind of. So, obviously I was studying literature in college, and then thrillers were actually my first love. So, my long-term author dream is to get into thrillers. I think those are the hardest ones to write. But then I didn't really do anything in my 20s, and then I just sat down one day in 2020 and I just started writing this one. But the funny background story to it is that I was writing when I was a teenager. Okay. So I have a novel-size, little bite-size PG version of it when I was 14 of my first book, because I thought the first book was going to be the only book I would ever write. To this day, I mean, the titles in the series that got kind of big, they have numbers in them, and the first one is 5, and then it's 2, 3, 1, 4, and it drives people crazy
like
that
Star
it's
Wars?
like it drives people crazy that it's out of order, and I'm like, look, I get it, but I didn't know I was ever gonna write more than one.
Hey, George Lucas did it. You're fine.
Yeah,
you're
I
fine.
mean, look,
well, that's like a mental pressure of like writing your next book and making the audience happy.
Yeah,
and
we gotta.
Because you think all the world turns on you. Like someone can love you, and then in the next post be like, "Wow, Nikki Castle, awful."
I know. Yeah, it's tough to like build a brand.
So what about that? Like negative criticism?
I think I'm too much of a Philly bitch to like care much, because there's a big thing they say with author. You know, you have to develop a thick skin because people leave reviews on books more than anything.
What would you say to somebody who doesn't have that thick skin yet?
Don't read reviews, but build a trusted team around you that are not yes men. Because that's the other thing that people fall into is you don't need an editor that only writes good comments in the margins of your book. You know what I mean? That's going to bite you in the ass more than negative reviews.
We have Jessica for that. She'll praise us all day. I said, you'll hype us and cheerlead us all day long.
No, have hype men for sure. You want to have people that love you.
I pedestal people.
So
I feel like
perfect, no notes.
Yeah, which I need that for after the book is live.
Yeah, for the
because
morale.
once it's live, I can't change it. Especially with like audiobooks, I have to send the manuscript 2 months before the book releases. So by the time the book is live, nothing's changing. You know what I mean?
The chord is in, the song's playing.
Yeah. I mean, I still read them for the first 2 weeks because I like knowing what hit and what didn't.
Sure.
But that's a me thing. That's not normal.
Does that insignificant, data points feed back into your next production?
Yeah, for sure. Because my goal with every book is for it to be better than the last. I'm always trying to get better. I mean, I've built my brand now, so I kind of know what people like, but I always want to become a better writer.
Sure.
So I read reviews so that I know, and you have to like kind of know how to read them too, because you'll get just as many reviews that say this was too long as you'll get this was too short. Like you have to figure out which ones you listen to. So you kind of have to sift through them a little bit. But again, going back to you need the team of people around you whose opinions you trust and that you trust to be honest with you. So thankfully I have that team. I'm very picky about that team, but
that's a non-negotiable in running a business.
Yeah.
So a lot of the lessons you've learned along the way. Is there something that you did out of either good intentions or because you didn't know any better or had high hopes? Anything. Could be a decision you made, somebody you hired, whatever, a topic of a book that you're like, now in retrospect, never again.
As far as like something I wrote about or something I did in the business.
In the business.
The only thing that I really regret that was a big transition thing for me was I was a little too honest in the beginning. And it's weird because you start as a reader. So my platform was I was reading and reviewing books. You can't review peers once you publish your first book. So none of them were ever mean, but that's one thing that I would take back would was reviewing other people's books that were essentially my peers. That's probably my only regret in hindsight. Yeah, because you can't, because the thing is, I distinctly remember this one book that I didn't even say anything about it. It's just, people rate by stars, rate books by stars, and I hated this book. I gave it a 2-star. It was like the most popular thing. It was blowing up at the time, and everyone was like, read it. And I was like, I'm not even going to say anything because I have essentially nothing nice to say. And I remember it was just like an Instagram story or something. But I remember thinking like, I would never post this if I thought the author would see it, because I never want to do that. There's a huge phenomenon in the book world where people tag authors in shitty reviews. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Because the world's just full of hate.
Well, and they're like, you need to know what I think. And I'm like, I'm sorry, who are you? Like, what do you mean? So I didn't, obviously I didn't tag her. She didn't see it. But I remember thinking like, oh, this author is huge. She'll never see it.
Yeah.
I share every signing with her now. And every time I see her, I'm like, fuck, did she know? Like, did she see it? So these people who I thought I was never going to be peers with,
or
now I'm like peers with. You know what I mean? That's my regret. So.
Interesting. Well, Dan's giving me the wrap it up.
That was supposed to be subtle. Yeah.
I know it was supposed to be subtle, but I don't want it to be subtle.
I did it off camera.
Yeah, because we could talk.
I know. I feel like you and I could talk
to you
for
forever. Yeah. And I'm very, very proud of you, and thank you so much for coming and talking with me and Dan.
Yeah.
Is that book for me that you brought?
Yeah, I brought that. That's my most recent one, and it's the one I'm most proud of.
I'm gonna go grab it. So keep
grab that.
talking, and I'll put it on there.
Oh, perfect.
We end each show with the same thing. And do you remember in college when we used to?
Yeah, perfect.
This one's called Revive.
Revive Me.
Revive Me. Is this one about the physical therapist?
Yeah, it's an MMA fighter becomes partially paralyzed in a fight, and he falls in love with his physical therapist.
I dig it. Ooh,
it's
I like
really
that.
good. It's not super spicy either.
Like
that's one thing I always like to call out. So you made a smut queen comment.
Yeah.
Smut is what we use to describe spicy romance. The one thing I always like to point out is that there's a difference between. I don't write porn. That's not.
She just does it in real life.
No,
she doesn't write it. She acts it out.
That's the sixth revenue stream tied to this.
Yeah, right. No, we don't have an OnlyFans. No, there's a genre specifically for that, and it's called erotica. So my people read my books. I mean, it is open door. There's
little
spice in it.
zesty.
It's zesty.
Yeah.
It's zesty. That one not so much.
Oh, this is
of
signed and everything.
But people read it for the love story, not for the sex.
People.
If they just wanted to read sex, they would read erotica.
You're like a hot commodity.
What?
Maybe I'll do a giveaway with this. It's one of your.
I brought 2 of them because I wasn't sure who else was in here.
Of your readers can get a signed copy for free.
Yeah, I'll share this on my thing. I don't think I've done a giveaway with that one.
My wrap up has obviously taken probably longer than Dan wanted. But we'll end. Make sure you read all Nikki's books because she's amazing. And we end with a high kick. And I'm wearing rain boots today with raining cats and dogs on them.
They're pretty dope.
So
that is cute. Wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
What do you mean I'm serious?
I don't know.
Have you ever known me to joke about a high kick?
It's a head kick.
Now that I'm out of the frame, I might just get like a mannequin leg.
Just lift
and
it
that's
up.
We're done. So.
Awesome.